Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Anna's Thoughts and Musical Parodies. So, we're doing something kind of different and special and exciting. I'm going to share with you my sort of walk away story, as in walking away from the Democratic Party. I believe Brandon Straka is the founder of the movement, or one of the like people who began it. I should look into that more. But he is a really cool guy. Um, and I think I'm following him on Instagram. So my story is maybe a little bit different from the typical story because it's not like I was like necessarily deep into the left and like a total activist over there, but I was to some extent. Also, I dealt with some very serious mental health issues right before 2016, which is when I voted for Trump and just started to kind of begin to look back into politics at all. Um, so it wasn't like a drastic, like one side to the other. But anyway, uh, I voted for Trump in the 2016 election because I was living with my parents at the time because I was recovering or trying to, yeah, I was just barely recovering from PTSD due to a abusive relationship, and it was actually in that relationship that I was brainwashed and basically talked into voting for Obama in 2008, probably 2012 also, because I was so brainwashed by the person I was with, and I was all for Obamacare. I thought it, made sense and it was a great, wonderful thing, and I celebrated when gay marriage was legalized. I was just all into all of that. Um, my parents actually uh, gave me some information before I voted in 2016, and what one of the main things that I remember turning me over or making me decide to vote for Trump instead of Hillary was that they told me about the Benghazi situation, how she I read today that actually yesterday because it's like 1 in the morning on Friday right now, or Saturday. It's 1 in the morning on Saturday. But that she waited like 18 hours to respond to the Benghazi situation. And I still don't know, I don't really remember exactly what happened there, but I know it was something where some soldiers died. I believe it was 4 soldiers, because she waited way too long to respond. That's the main thing that I remember making me think that I shouldn't vote for her. And I knew that Trump was pro-life and more for Christian values, and I'm a Christian, so yeah. Anyway, another reason also why I could not be a liberal leftist is because I've just seen so much propaganda from that side about how much issue there is with whiteness, the condition or whatever they say of whiteness, and especially white men, and men in general, but especially white men, and all of that. And I think it was in 2018 that the New York Times hired Sarah Zhang, how do you pronounce it, as, I'm not even sure what she does for them, but I think a technical writer or something like that. And she is a blatant racist and man-hater. And I saw all her tweets and everything from like 2015, like not even that long ago, and they just made like really lame excuses. And if you are one of the people who feels like it's ridiculous to say that white people are oppressed to some degree, that we're looked down on in today's Western society, I will link a whole playlist below that I've compiled over the last couple years that says differently. Because I just want people to know what the actual truth is. Anyway, so I voted for Trump for the 2016 election, just based off a little bit of information, just because I wanted to vote in general, and it seemed like the best of the two choices. But it was shortly after he actually got elected that I really started looking into politics more and started solidifying my position as a conservative. Um, the Charlottesville rally, I know people were freaking out over that, and that was kind of the beginning from my memory of the Trump hating that we've seen through all these last few years. And my older sister is actually a part of that as well. Like I saw a lot of what she put on Facebook and things she said to me about how I should have looked into it more and stuff. And so I wanted to see if she was right, if I did make the wrong choice, and what everybody else who I saw on the internet was. I wanted to see what all the hubbub was about, So there was one day when I was living in Oceanside, California, that I went to the library to look on the internet. I just like Google searched "Unite the Right Rally" and just Trump or whatever, and like I knew there were some actual white supremacists there and whatever, neo-Nazis or whatnot, and that's not something that I'm cool with. So there's that, and I saw a clip of Trump addressing that situation on one of the mainstream news stations, because I didn't know at the time how insanely biased to the left that they are. It showed him just saying that there were fine people on both sides. Like, that's the main thing that I remember, that everybody was up in arms about. And at that point, it did enrage me as well. Because I was like, wait, I know that there were actual white supremacists over there. Why is he saying that there are fine people on both sides? And I actually wrote an angry Facebook post about it. But then, right after that, I decided to look more into it. I don't remember what I typed in or whatever, but I just looked at more results. And I think it was a Infowars video that I saw. And I was like, oh, I think I thought, this is something that my mom looks at, and I'll just see what it is. And it was actual live footage of the Unite the Right rally, and the counter-protesters I could see were throwing balloons of urine at the Unite the Right people, and it just looked like there were some crazy, violent people on that side, and I don't think anybody on the Unite the Right side being violent, but I was like, I know some of them are actually white supremacists though, so that's not cool. But anyway, I was like, yeah, I can't tell who's better, in a way. And then somewhere else, I don't remember where, but I found the full clip of what Trump said about that situation, and I saw that he expressly said that he condemned the neo-Nazis, but that there were still some good people on each side, people who were just kind of more neutral, I think. And at that point, my mind was blown. I was like, whoa, the mainstream media is skewing things so much, because I never really knew before that. I was kind of out of touch with things for a while due to my mental health and the situation that caused it. But that was crazy to me. And then I, after a little more time, happened to come across Hunter Avallone on YouTube. And I just watch him here and there these days, but I used to watch him a lot. And he was one of the first people who opened me up some more to my red pill experience, I guess you could say. And I learned things that I had kind of been wondering about, why transgender people were, I think, limited in some degree to the military. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I learned that it was because they tended to cause more of an economic strain and things like that, and they tend to have more mental health issues because that is correlated to being transgender. It's just what the facts are. And so things like that made sense to me. He mentioned how Trump referred to specifically MS-13 gang members as animals, not Mexicans in general, and different things like that. And it was making a lot of sense, and I could see just how much the left skewed things and how much sense Trump actually made. I myself, actually, before I ever even was exposed to any of this, I remember one night taking a walking a dog that my younger sister used to have, and telling her how gang members seemed like they acted like animals to me, like acting on instinct and just impulse and doing all sorts of crazy violent things like a dog would. And I remember saying to her, oh, maybe that's why they call each other dog. And yeah, I was dealing with serious mental health issues at this time, and maybe that's part of why I was so brash, but I was, getting some anger out. But take that as you will. I kind of think it makes sense. Not that I would lower lessen anybody to that, or look down on them as a human being because of that. I want everybody to be redeemed. I want everybody ultimately to come to God, and have salvation. But I'm just saying, when people are killing people over petty things and robbing them and just being ridiculous, that is kind of animalistic. So yeah, I think Trump makes sense, and he's just bold and truthful and does what he needs to do regardless of the outrage. So yeah, I used to be a leftist. I voted for Obama. I remember watching speeches from Bill Clinton, thinking he seemed cool. I thought it made sense to legalize all drugs, like someplace did that I saw a documentary about, etc., etc. I was all into learning about all the different types of sexuality and stuff like that, not thinking that it seemed like a mental illness issue or anything like that, but it was interesting. And I've learned to be more rational and question things more and think more critically and realistically, if I didn't already say that. And so yeah, I feel like I've just gradually become more of a conservative, although I'm still an advocate for marijuana used responsibly and legally, and I'm a pretty big environmentalist, but I think a lot of conservatives are. So that is my unique sort of, I guess, slightly different than the norm that you tend to hear, walk away story. And I am a proud conservative and Trump supporter. And it's okay to be white. Boycott China. Check labels. Evil, evil regime over there. Regime. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time zone you are in. Please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Share with your friends and family and anybody who you think should see this video or my channel. And leave comments with anything you have to say if you'd like to. And I will see you next time.